Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel, where we discuss topics related to SAP and SAP consulting jobs. The module we are discussing today is called SAP EHS. This module is suitable for people working in safety jobs as core safety professionals or compliance professionals, and those people who want to switch their jobs to IT industries. Safety professionals are more suited to the SAP EHS module as they already have the domain knowledge. SAP EHS is a new, upcoming, and niche module with very good salaries right now. In this session, we will first understand the basics of SAP and SAP EHS, and then we will see a live demo of the SAP EHS system on the new S4 HANA platform. So let's start. Right. So SAP is an ERP software. Okay. ERP softwares are, you can say, a category of software. Full form is Enterprise Resource Planning. These type of softwares, it can be SAP or any other ERP. These are used by, you can say, multinational companies or big companies or heavy industries to manage their company's resources and their processes. For example, we have different modules within SAP. So I'll just give you an example. There is a module called SAP SD, Sales and Distribution, which manages everything from creating a sales order to shipping the product to ensuring that the customers get the required documents like invoices. Okay. Then we have something called SAP MM, which is Material Management. This module ensures that the company manages their purchase acquisition on the system. They have the complete, you can say, purchasing process within SAP MM. Also, they have the company to manage their company's resources and materials. Okay. Then we have something called as SAP HR, Hire to Retire. This module helps the company in onboarding the resources, managing their profiles, ensuring their managing their payrolls. Okay. Also storing the data about the employee, like when did he join, which organizations he has worked for within the company, which team he's working for now, who is his reporting manager, and what is his email. All these details are stored in this module. Okay. So for different processes, we have different modules here. What happens in a company which does not have SAP? So basically everything is done manually, like we do in India right now. Most of the core companies in India, they manage their processes on manually. So either they will have some local homegrown software, or they will do it manually on the pen and paper process through phone calls or emails. Okay. So what SAP does is SAP creates modules for these different processes and gives a ready-made solution to the business. Now, this solution is a standard solution which is applicable to multiple industries. Whenever we, as SAP consultant, are required to implement this SAP modules into any company, what we have to do is we have to first understand the business, and then we have to customize the modules. Okay. If required, we have to customize the modules. Now we will understand all these technical terms, what it means by understanding the business and customizing the modules, and what does a module actually mean. Okay. So we will let's get to the point. Okay. So the module that we are talking about here is called SAP EHS, or Environment, Health and Safety. Okay. And the training that we are conducting is on S4 HANA, which is the latest system from SAP. All right. So what SAP EHS is, SAP EHS, you can say, is another module from SAP, which helps the company in managing multiple processes within environment, health and safety domain. Some of the processes that are part of this are incident management, risk assessment, chemical management, environment management, incident management, risk assessment, chemical management, and environment management. We have few other new sub modules here, but we will not be discussing about those. So I'll just give you the names also. It's management of change, And then we have a cross-application component known as audit management, but these are not that relevant for any beginner. Okay, so these are now on S4 HANA. These are the part of SAP EHS, or you can say EHSM management. Okay, and then we have another section here which is now called as PSS, or Product Safety and Stewardship. So the business processes involved under this, or the name of the modules under this particular module is product safety, dangerous goods management, substance volume tracking, and global level management. Okay. Now these different processes are, they combinedly make the profile for any SAP HS consultant. Okay. So to be a good SAP HS consultant, you are required to have at least the basic knowledge about all of these. And it depends on the kind of seniority level that these knowledge will keep changing. Okay. So now let's try to understand what each of these sub modules do. So I guess most of the people here are from safety industry. So you would be knowing about the core safety processes like the incident management. So the what we do in incident management is the company is required to record and report every injury or accident that happens on the site. Now these accidents or injuries could be, they could be fatal. Someone could have been injured in this, or someone could, it could be a near miss where the injury did not happen but could have happened. So all of these different types of incidents are required to be reported and recorded within the company. After recording there, we also have to create, multiple reports and send to different authorities. And all this process is managed by incident management. And the demo that we will be seeing today will be also be about the incident management process only. Risk assessment, I guess, you guys would have done in on your site. So whenever a new chemical or any product arrives on your site, you are required to do a risk assessment to understand the risk associated with the product, and also to establish controls about it. So suppose you get any material, and before storing it in your warehouses, you are required to go through the MSDS of the product, and also to understand where this material has to be stored, how it has to be stored, what are the different safety measures required. Okay. Chemical management is, you can say, is a predecessor for the risk assessment. So whenever you receive the chemical, you're required to get the MSDS, get the information from MSDS and stored into the systems. Then there is a process which you have to follow. You need to get the approval from multiple teams. Basically the hazard management team or the environment management team, before it can be stored on the company's warehouse. Environment management, earlier used to be known as emission management in the previous systems, is used to manage the company's emissions. So, all the companies, all the countries have some local regulations, local and national regulations. So these local and national regulations, they kind of regulate how much pollution any company can produce. Okay. So, and if any company or any factory is producing over the limit it is, allowed to, then they have to pay some fine. Now, to avoid this fine, every company has to measure their emission that they are doing. Okay, not just emission, but any kind of, you can say, pollution that they are doing. It could be related to water, soil, or air, anything. So, environment management allows you to manage any global regulation, global or national or local regulation, and also to measure the upper limit of the, also to measure your emissions and compare it with the upper limit to understand if you're crossing the limit or not. If you're crossing the limit, you are allowed to create incidents about it, and also to fix the cause for it. Suppose you cross the limit in the month of May this year. So you need to make sure that whatever the reason is, that reason is fixed. Otherwise, you will keep creating more pollution than you're required to. Okay. So this you can understand the first module that we have. This is the late. You can say all this is completely new in S4 HANA. So we previously had a system called SAP ECC. Okay, which is the older system, which is being phased out by SAP now, and the new system is S4 HANA. So on S4 HANA, for all of these modules, all the previous processes have been deprecated, or you can say closed. So what we have on S4 HANA is a completely new system, and it is new for a lot of people. Even people who have worked for 15 years in this industry, even for them, this particular processes are new on S4 HANA. Okay. So, okay, I'll tell you why I'm telling you this after I complete explaining the PSS part. Right. Now, the PSS part, this is more concerned towards the safety or handling of a material. Okay. So, in the first part, we discussed that whenever you receive a chemical on site, you are required to do a risk assessment and also to go through the MSDS. Okay. Now, this MSDS that you receive, this is being sent by the supplier, right? So, the supplier has to create this MSDS for all the products that they are selling. So, now let's consider a company which is supplying globally, okay, to different countries. So, they have to create multiple different types of reports based on whichever country their customer belongs to. All this is handled by product safety. They're allowed to store the products within the system and to create multiple reports in different languages for different customers. So you don't have to kind of create the same product multiple times. Once you have created the product, stored its properties, you can keep creating reports for different languages and different countries. Okay. Dangerous goods management deals with a specific type of substance known as UN listed substance or dangerous goods. Okay. So they have a different type of regulation known as DG regulation or transport regulations, which require them to be transported in a certain way depending on which country they are going through. So this particular module helps you in identifying if your product has a dangerous good, and if it has a dangerous good, is it allowed to go through a country or not? Okay. Then substance volume tracking. This module helps you in tracking the volume of sales, purchase, or production that your company is doing for any of the ingredients of the products. If the ingredient is regulated, or you can say if the product is controlled in any country where the government has imposed some limit on its production or sale or purchase, in that case, you have to make sure that you do not cross that limit, and that is done through substance volume tracking. Global label management module helps you in creating labels for your product. So if you look at any product, if you look at any, even the cold drink bottle, you will see that there is a label on the bottle. Okay, and on that label you have multiple information like what are the contents of this product. There is a logo for the company. There is a barcode, and then you have some instructions there, and you have some pictograms like recyclable things. So all these types of labels are created designed using this module called global label management. Okay. Combiningly, all of these modules make up the portfolio of any SAP HS consultant. All right. Now let's try to understand what an SAP HS consultant does. So, as most of you are from core industry, it must be difficult for you to understand what actually SAP HS consultants are doing for any project. Okay. So SAP projects are just like any other software projects. We'll take an example. So let's say that there is a you can say a core company, anything. We'll call them ABC, maybe ABC manufacturers. This is the name of the company. Okay. Now they have been managing their safety processes offline till now. So if anyone gets injured, they call their someone from the site will call their supervisor. The supervisor will inform their plant manager, and then the plant manager will inform the safety team, who will then go to the site and ensure that everything is properly done. Injured person is sent to the hospital. Whatever has been damaged is removed from the site. Whatever is the process. Okay. Now ABC manufacturers want a software to manage all of this. Why do they need a software? So I'll tell you an example. We'll again go through this offline process. Okay. Let's say that there is a fire in one of the workshops. Okay. So once the fire breaks out, so fire in workshop. Okay. So once the fire breaks out, what will happen is someone from the site, you can say any person who is available on site will call the supervisor. Okay. Supervisor or the safety team, anyone, whoever is the available on site. Okay. Now this person, whoever receives this call, they will inform their senior management. Okay. Now they will go to the site wherever this fire broke out. Obviously, managing the fire is the task of the fire safety team, whichever. Once the fire is dozed off, then these people are required to do the investigation. Why this happened? Right? They will do the investigation, send out emails to everyone, and they will take approval on emails, and then they will try to contact everyone. So they will contact, you can say, eyewitnesses. Okay. They will also contact maybe the rapid action team or the plant safety manager, whatever. Okay. They will also contact, you can say, their colleagues, whoever are required to participate in this. They will also send injured people to hospital, right? And after everything is done, after root cause analysis is found out, after root cause analysis is done, root cause analysis, then they will contact other teams to fix the damages, right? So whatever the fire has damaged, it has damaged the workshop. So your electrical connections will be damaged, your walls will be damaged. All this has to be fixed now. So after the root cause analysis is done, I mean, you can say parallelly, they will try to fix all of this. Okay. Now, once they have found the root cause, that maybe it happened due to short circuit. So now they have to fix the root cause, right? Otherwise, this will keep happening. So now to fix the root cause, they will again kind of contact other teams, whichever team is required. Maybe the electrical team is required or the mechanical team is required to fix it. So whichever team is required, they will contact them to fix the issue. Now, let's say that all of this is done. Then they are required to produce reports. Great report. It could be different for different regulation. Like for OSHA, we have the OSHA 301 report. Then we have different reports for these different regulations. Whatever is required by your local government regulation, that report has to be created and sent to the regulatory authority, whichever authority is required to review the report. Okay. Now, all of this is done manually. So there is a high probability that your data may be lost. Communication may not be proper. A lot of people who are required to know about this may not know about this because it completely depends on the person who is trying to inform everyone, how many people he informs, right? So that's why any company goes for SAP systems. Now let's see how this is done on SAP. Okay, so I'll just show you the SAP system, that how does it look like. We have a remote server that we connect to. Okay, So this is your SAP HANA system. You can see there are different modules here. Our EHS incident management is here. Similarly, we have different modules from different processes available here. We have to go to our module. Okay. And for each of the modules, you have multiple applications here. All right. So these are the applications that we are going to use for incident management. And as a consultant, you are required to understand which of these applications do what. Okay, that's the first step in learning about SAP EHS or any other SAP module. Okay. Once you understand this, then we have different complex objectives here. So we have to understand how these are configured in the system, then where the data is getting stored, how the data can be exchanged with different systems, how do we, customize these applications. So these are different things that we need to understand. But the first thing to understand is how these applications work. All right. So what we do here in SAP EHS is we have an application called Manage Locations. Whenever we are starting with SAP EHS in any company, what we do is first of all, we create all the physical locations in this application. So let's say you have a headquarters somewhere. Okay. So this is an example. So maybe JSW Steel Limited is the headquarter here. Okay. And then we have their plants here, Dolby and Vijayanagar, and then their individual sites. Okay. So we create this structure here so that we can identify where this incident has happened. So once you have this structure in your system, it's a one-time activity. It's done right before we start the project. I mean, we start working on the system. Okay. Now, every time an incident is reported, you have different applications to work on it. Okay. So the person who has seen this incident happening, they can report it from from their mobile phone or from their desktop. Okay. So this is the form which you can say this is the form that needs to be filled out to report this incident. Okay. So we'll start with this title. We are just going to write as fire in workshop. Okay. You can provide description of events like according to you how it happened. Then immediate actions like did you call the fire brigade or fire safety team or whatever. Okay. And then the date and time of this. So whenever this has happened, you can just provide the date and time for this. So I'm just going to keep it backdated, right? And time zone. Now you have to provide the where did it happen. So where did it actually happen? So you can select the location here. So the structure that you see here is coming from the manage locations application. So whatever is required to report this incident, whatever locations are required has to be created in the manage locations application. And then you will find it in your reporting application. Okay. Now you select any of these locations. Let's say that maybe it happened at Dolby. Okay. Right. Then you can write who was injured. So if you want to add someone who was injured, if you want to provide the detail about someone, what you can do is you can just click on choose from address book. So what it does is, see, SAP is a connected system. Okay, it's a you can say multiple modules are there. So all your company's employee information will already be available in this system. So what you can do is you can select your company's employee, whichever person you want to search for. So I'm just going to write star to randomly search for someone. Let's say maybe Matthew Carter is the person who was injured. Okay, and automatically his address, his email is provided here. Okay. And let's say if I want to, and I can add what kind of injury he had. So manually I can write maybe, first degree burns. All right. Then who witnessed the accident? For this section here, who witnessed the accident? Again, you can select from your company's database. I'm just giving wildcards here because I want to search for a lot of people. And we can say Ryan Ravel is the person who was the witness. Okay. Now this is being entered by the system into the system by the person who has witnessed, or you can say who is going to report this incident to the authorities. Okay, it could be their internal management or maybe someone else. So now once he clicks on send, what happens is, so now you get this message here, right? I'm just going to pin this message on the top. It says incident 190 reported, responsible incident manager notified. So 190 is nothing but the sequence number. So, before this, the incident that was reported would have been 189. After this, the next incident will be 191. Okay. So incident 190 reported, responsible incident manager notified. So what happens is SAP, you don't need to manually find out who needs to be informed about this. SAP already has defined a process where where the system is going to automatically identify which person needs the notification for this or who is going to work on this incident. Okay. Now, this how to establish these identification also, like who is going to work in this incident for which site, because you have multiple sites, right? So for each site you will have to find out different people. So that can also be configured in the system. uh, Basically, as a consultant, we have to define like how the system is going to find out which person is going to get the incident notification. Okay. Now all that is part of the configuration that we will see later, but right now let's focus on the process here. So the person who has been notified, what will happen is he will have an application like this called My Inbox, and in this application he will receive emails like this one, which says review and complete incident, date, time, plant, and test data. Whatever this incident was, this could have been the older incident. Okay. Now he can directly access the incident from open task. Okay. Directly he can open task, or if he doesn't know, okay, maybe it is some other person who has not received notification. The application to access all the incidents is this one, manage incidents. So when we click on this, what it shows is, now this shows, you can say, all the incidents that have been reported in the company. Okay. So let's see. Incident number 190, firing workshop. Our incident is here. So we can go to this incident. There are filters also. You can use those filters to uh, kind of sort the incidents. You can sort using incident category, incident type, or date, or location where this incident has happened. All right. So now you have this incident here. And now you look at the screen. This is a much more detailed screen here. Okay. Now this is where the incident manager is working. So now he sees the information, like whatever information the you can say the reporter or the incident notifier has provided. So the person who has reported this incident has provided the following information. And as the incident manager, it is my responsibility to understand if this information is right or do I need to modify this. Okay. So this is the basic information here. Okay. Now the next tab here after basic information is people. In people, you can see there are few roles already added here. Like Ranjan Vasudeva is the reporting person. Matthew Carter is the injured person. We added him earlier. Ryan Revel is the witness. Suppose I want to add more people to this incident so that they can keep getting notification about this whenever something happens. Or if I have to reach out to someone, I don't have to, basically, if my manager wants to see that who needs to be reached out, he doesn't need to call me up. He can directly open the incident and he can check this place. Okay. Also, this is a record of the incident. This will stay in the system for multiple years. So we also have to think from that perspective that we have to add every person's name who's involved in this incident. Okay, so we can add different people according to their designation. Suppose I want to add, who can I add? Let's add the plant manager here. Okay, I can select this role and let's look for the person. Okay, let's take this one, Ann Anderson. Maybe this person is the plant manager here. Okay, and as soon as I add him, I get the details like when he was born, what is his age, what is the company code. Or if there are more information, that will also appear here. Okay. So I've added one more person. We can add as many people as we want. Okay. And then we go to the assets tab. So here we have to add the details about the assets of the company that have been damaged as part of this incident, or which have been affected. So we have three categories here: equipment, vehicle, and property. Let's try to add a vehicle here. Okay. So let's see if we have any vehicle for this plant. We do not have anything for this plant available here. This is a test system. So I'll just write anything here. Okay. So I'll just write Tata truck. You can say, what is it? 8 feet, 8 feet capacity. Okay. And then, other information automatically pops up if the vehicle detail is available. There is another module called SAP EAM. EAM means Enterprise Asset Management, which manages all the assets of any company. And the data that we get here is coming from SAP EAM's data. So now, since we do not have any data for SAP EAM in the system, that's why we are not getting any data here automatically. These scenarios are known as integration within SAP systems. Okay, wherever one module is getting data from some other module and using it for their object. Okay, we will understand more about this, whenever we are into training. But for the timing, just understand that we are just adding the assets of the company which have been damaged here. You can add which passengers were injured or what kind of damages have happened. Okay, and save. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to our incident. Then we have the financial tracking tab. So basically, for any incident, the company has to pay the damage cost, right? Along with damage cost, they might also be required to pay for the employees, you can say, recovery or their treatment, and also for the compensation for getting injured. Okay. Now all these details, like whatever is the cost of that the company has to bear because of this incident, is added in this particular table. So you can provide the estimate here. You can say maybe 2 lakh rupees. Maybe 2 lakh is going to be the cost according to you. And then based on you know internal order and maintenance orders, which are just companies different ways of managing their you can say invoices, the data will keep getting added automatically. You can add any, it's like you have added the estimation here. Now you have to provide the proofs for this. Okay, so you will add different orders that the company will be making, and the cost will be coming from these orders automatically. Okay, so the cost will be appearing here automatically. Currency, amount, everything will be provided here. Okay, next is the risk matrix. So while going through the incident investigation, if you identify that there is a certain kind of risk that you have identified here which was not identified previously, that can also be added here. Okay, then comes the most important part for any incident, which is the investigation part. Okay, what we do here is, let's say that I want to do the investigation, so I will select this. Investigation required is yes. Now I can, by default, it is the person who is who's working on this incident is added as the investigation lead. I can change this and change this to someone else. Let's see who can be added here. Let's take this one, Neha Sharma, maybe. Okay. Yeah. So what will happen is, as soon as I set the status here to in process, Neha Sharma will receive a notification automatically in her inbox, in the my inbox, where it will be saying that, okay, investigation has been started. You are required to work on this investigation. And now what she can do is she can assign different tasks to different people as part of the investigation. So what she can do, I'll just give you an example. So maybe the root cause and control evaluation. This is a task, right? Now this task will be assigned to any person. Okay, so let's say that she wants to assign it to some other person, maybe to Ronald Williams, right? So what this means is that she wants Ronald Williams to complete the root cause and control evaluation. Okay, and then we save this. Once, let's assume that Ronald has done his work and the root cause analysis is complete. What she can do is that she is required to complete the incident. Okay, so she can just close this investigation process here. Okay, and you can create this summary report here. Summary report is nothing but a PDF report which provides the details about the investigation that is happening. Okay, so let's see this report now. This is you can say a template from SAP. We can change the logo and modify the details above, but this is the details. I mean, it carries the detail about the investigation that is happening. So you can see injured person is Matthew Carter, witness is Ryan Revel, and investigation team, it is Neha Sharma, Ronald Williams. Description is root cause and control evaluation. Investigator is Ronald Williams. Whatever is happening, right? All the details are provided here. And this one is detailed from financial metrics tab. Okay, financial tracking tab. Sorry. Okay. Now, once all of this is done, investigation is done, root cause is identified, you will find all the reports that have been created till now here under documents. Now what you can do is you can generate other reports. So depending on the regulation that the companies that this incident is following, you will automatically get the list of reports here. Okay, like the OSHA 301 form or whatever. Okay, now all the details from the incident will be automatically populated into this PDF report so that you can directly send them to anyone. You have this button here, send. When you click on this, you can enter any email ID, it will be sent automatically. Okay, now let's say that this incident is completed. Okay, after this, there will be tasks created to fix the issues, to fix the root causes, and also to ensure that this incident does not happen again. This is, you can say, a very brief process of incident management on S4 HANA, SAP S4 HANA. And this actually involves multiple objects that we have not discussed completely in detail. Okay, for example, there's this thing called change classification. So whenever you report an incident, system automatically identifies what kind of incident it is. So if you've added an injured person, that means it is of the injury illness type. Okay, if you've added some other details, depending on the details, this will be identified. Okay, now let's say that the company that you are working for, or maybe in which you are implementing this software, they do not have any of these. They do not use the incident categories like this or classification like this. Okay, maybe they are using a different incident classification that is called uh, what can we just give me an example, guys? Or maybe I'll just take uh, vehicle accident. Okay, maybe this is one of the types that they have, which is not available in the SAP standard system. Now, as a consultant, what is your job? You are required to create this in the system so that the company can use it. Okay, now this is something that we call as configuration. Okay, now whatever you have seen till now, this is the front end of the application, also known as Fury applications. Okay, now we are going to go to the back end of the application, or you can say the GUI. Okay, now this is the backend of the system in SAP ECC. The previous version, you only had this GUI, you did not had the Fury applications. In SAP, you can say S4 HANA, you have both. So I'll show you how, just say some examples of configuration. Okay, so we have to remember the transaction codes in this GUI system. So for example, to go to the customizing the transaction code is SPRO. Okay, so when you enter this transaction code here and press enter, it will take you to the program. Okay, now this particular place, SPRO or the customizing, is the place from where your front end is getting controlled. Okay, so it has a lot of modules. Details you can see, logistics, general, environment, health and safety, product safety, product compliance, sales, distribution, material management, governance, risk compliance, transportation management, production. All these different modules are available here. Okay, now if I go to environment, health and safety, okay, and incident management, general configuration. Now you see I have so many options here. I have so many options under all of these. Okay, so right, and all of these are used to, you can say, manage the how the front end displays the information. So if I go to this incident reporting part, basic information, you see this, I have the option of specify incident groups. If I select this, what I will get is the list of the incident groups available in the system. So currently we have these groups: a deviation, notice of violation, injury, illness, release, asset damage, all of this. Okay. Suppose I want to add something in this place. I'll just click on new entries. Okay, provide a technical name. It is just like an index number. So for everything you have to provide a technical name. So it's just like an index number to differentiate between two objects. Okay. For example, your name and my name could be same, but my employee ID and your employee ID could not be same. Okay. So just like employee ID, we also need to have a unique, you can say unique object here, which can be used to identify these, different names. Okay. So I'll just write Z EHS incident underscore demo. This is the name I'm giving, and description that I want to give is vehicle damage. Okay, and save. Okay, if I click on change classification, whatever I've added is now available here. Okay, so this is just one you get a very basic example of how configuration is done. So yeah, as we have multiple different sets of configuration. Now, what does an SAP EHS consultant do in this whole process? So whenever this company, will just minimize this. Just give me a second. Okay. So now when ABC manufacturers, they decide that, okay, maybe we need, uh, just give me 1 second. Maybe there is someone waiting here. Okay. Whenever these as ABC manufacturers decide that we need SAP system, what they will do is they will approach the software companies, or you can say the IT companies, to implement this into their system. Now, let's say that there is a company called, you know, uh, XYZ Systems, XYZ Technologies. Okay. This is the company now. So now this company XYZ Technologies, what they will do is they will send their functional consultants. Okay. Functional consultants are the people who are working on SAP. SAP functional consultants are people who are working on SAP modules. Okay. For example, once SAP people who are working on SAP EHS are known as SAP EHS functional consultants. So what they will do is they will go to these company and they will try to understand their process. Okay, they will see how they are reporting the incident currently. maybe they're calling someone, maybe they're sending the email, or maybe they have a local homegrown software. Okay, and then they will try to understand how it is different from SAP. All right. So the process that we saw, that is the standard process. They will try to understand how different the company's process is from the standard process. Okay. Now, once they have clear picture of what are the differences between these two systems are, these two processes are, they have to make a decision like how much the SAP system needs to be changed, or if the company needs to change the process. Okay. Or maybe they have to create something new for the company. Within SAP, we can create custom programs also and custom applications. Okay. So, and within this also, we have to make a decision like how much has to be done through coding, how much can be done through configuration. Okay. How many new features needs to be created, how many features are going to be used from the existing, standard process. All right. Once, how many different reports we need depending on the different countries this company is operating into. So once we make all this decision, then we start the development of the project. Okay. So the first step where we are doing all of this is known as requirement gathering phase. So we meet the business people, we try to understand what they are doing, what is their expectation, and then we create documentation, get their approvals, and decide on what is going to be done in the project. Then we do the development. Okay, so we will work with the programmers. Okay, in SAP there is a module called SAP ABAP, SAP ABAP, which is used for programming. So there are different people who will do programming, this team, and then we have to work with these programmers to what do the customizations or changes in the program, or to create whatever new is required. And we are required as the consultants, it is our responsibility to do the configuration. Okay, so designing is something that we did, requirement gathering is something that we did, and now we will be required to do the configuration. Once the configuration is done and we have kind of guided the developers like what they have to do, we have to ensure that testing is done properly by the users, by the team, unit testing, user testing, everything is done properly. Once it is done, then we are required to launch the application, or something that we call as go live. Okay. So we do this go live and we hand over the system to the company. That okay, now we have done the development according to you, everything has been tested properly, your employees have seen your systems. Now starts the phase of support. Support means now we are required to manage these systems. Okay. So it will be either us or some other company, whichever team is required to work on the support side. They are required to handle the everyday problems of the system. So any software will have problems every day. And since these are enterprise applications and not public applications, okay. So enterprise applications are those applications which are made specifically for a company. Okay. So these applications are made specifically for some company, and this particular company, whichever has been made, only their employees will be using this application. Okay. So that's why it is not something that that I or you would or any other person would have seen in their public life. So that's why there is a training requirement also. So we have to ensure that their employees get the training, they understand how to use the SAP system, and whatever they have been doing earlier, how that is now done on the SAP thing. All this is now part of the portfolio of a SAP EHS consultant. This is the job that a consultant does. Okay. Now, what we are going to cover in the training. Okay. We are going to cover all the modules that we have mentioned before. So what we are going to do is we are going to first understand the module on front end. Okay. So we have to understand how it is working, like we saw in this particular session. So first thing we do is we understand the applications that we have to use, T codes. Okay. Okay. Then once we understand how these applications are working, then we have to understand the configuration. Like how do we configure this application? How do we make the changes? And configuration and And how do we ensure that the client's requirements are met through, with minimum code change? Okay. Now, after that, we will try to look at the tables. Tables is where all the data is stored. We should know as consultants which tables are being used by SAP, to store the data for our modules. Okay. So once this is done, then we will look at. So I'll just move it to the next page. Okay. So once we have understood all of this, then we will go into the resume preparation stage. So we will be adding all the details that uh, we have studied till now into the resume, and then we will try to go for the interview. So we will upload our profiles online, and that's how we will get the calls. Okay, so we'll get it's not a difficult thing to get a call. There are a lot of opportunities available, and all the everyone gets like multiple calls. So then we start preparing for the interview. So this resume preparation, interview preparation, all this will be part of the training. Okay. So in interview preparation, we will see like what we have to explain about our resume, and how we have to explain what we know about SAP EHS. All right. So all this will be part of the training, and yeah, that's that's it. I will just show you how our website looks like. Okay, this is our website, and all the courses that we create are available here. Okay. So once you, for example, if you enroll for any of the batches, what will happen is we will give you access to this particular you can say course here. All the recorded sessions will be available here. Currently, this particular module batch is going on, so all the recorded classes are available here. You can watch these recorded sessions. Okay. So, for example, if I have to see this project management session that we took. Okay. So what we will do is we'll go to. Okay, this is not logged in. Maybe you can also download the Android application. Go to my account. Okay, under enrolled courses, you will see all the courses that you have enrolled into. Okay, it will be available here. I'm gonna go back to the home page now. Okay, and all your recorded sessions are available here. Okay, so you can keep going through these sessions. We will also upload quizzes here, or you can say practice tests here. So after every module, you can also get the practice classes here, practice tests here. If you are on our website and if you want to reach out to me directly, then you have this WhatsApp icon here. You can click on this. It will take you to my WhatsApp page. Okay. Okay. This bubble is available on all the pages, so you can contact me directly. Also, otherwise, you have this contact form here. You can fill out this form.